All right, hello. Today we're going to do part two of selection sort. In this lesson, basically, we're just going to review what selection sort is, and then you're going to have an assignment of some questions to make sure you understand what's going on with selection sort. Again, as far as the AP test goes, you don't actually have to program it, even though we're going to write some code today. But for the most part, you just have to understand how it works. All right, so just to walk you through it one more time, I have a warm up here. We have a list of an array of 6 elements, index 0 to 5. And so just walk through again, how does this selection sort work? All right, pause the video, think it through, think about what it looks like after a couple loops through, and then unpause for the answer. Okay, so what you really have is two different indexes. Um, one which is the position we're trying to select for. And so basically we're going to select the minimum and put it in this 0 position. So this first outside loop just counts what spot we're trying to find, right? And then the other one is sort of a counter, which I'll just maybe make like M or something here for minimum. And it just goes through and looks and say which is the min between these two. And then it goes down here and checks, right? And then at this point, 2 would be the min. So you probably actually, down here we should even have like a min variable that keeps track of what min we're at. And in this case, and actually check the index. Our index would be at 2 currently, but then we keep checking and we say, okay, at index 3, that's actually smaller. So now our min index would change and become position 3, not the value, but the position, right? And then it'll come over again, check the next spot, keep going, right? Keep going, and it'll say that the min is at spot 3, right? And so what happens then is now it's going to swap these two indexes. So when we start to look at the code today, it's basically going to swap the value at position 0 and the value at position 3. All right, so we use the temp variable again for that. So we're going to store this here, bring down our min here, and then put this 6 over here. Okay, and then now the process just repeats where things get reset. So the position we're finding the min from for is now position 1, right? And this thing that checks the min starts back all over. Okay, so our min will check between these two and say the smaller one is at position 2, right? So again, it's storing the position, not the value. And now it just checks all the position 3, see if that's less, position 4, position 5. It's not. Okay, so it got to the end, and so now it's going to swap the min position with the position we're on, right? So it'll swap these two, zoop, and then this one moves over, and then we swap this one back. And again, it resets. So this goes here, the spot we're checking here, and then we have a min variable, right? And so I guess I should have used M because it's really not the min here, it's the spot we're checking to see if that spot is the min spot. So between spot 2 and 3 here, 3 has the smaller one, and then we're just going to go down and check, and it's actually not going to change again. So this one, this 8 is not less, and then the A at 7 is not less either. So the min spot says 3, and then those two swap again. All right, so it comes down here, goes here, swaps back. So just to highlight again, min will track the min position. Yeah, and so if you just want to see it maybe one more time here of what it'll look like. Sorry, this is getting kind of long, but the min will start off here. It'll check 3 and 4 and say 4 has the min spot, right? But then when it moves min value, then when it moves over, now it'll check these two and say, oh, actually spot 5 is smaller. So it's going to erase that and say, okay, now this is 5. And then it'll swap position 3 into position 5. All right, so let's zoop, zoop, right? And then it'll go through one more time. Even though it's in order, it doesn't know that. It has to do one more time to see if these need to swap. All right, sorry for the long explanation. So just to show you a couple more things. One, let's maybe look at what the worksheet is going to look like. So it's going to say, this is a lot, again, what it'll look like on the AP test. It'll have an array, and we'll kind of label these different spots. Okay, and then it's going to say, what will this array look like after one swap one time through selection sort? So basically it's going to select the smallest one to go there. So it's going to flip flop those two. So it's going to go, these spots will flip. So we'll have, let's see, a 1 first, then a 3, 2, 7, and now we'll have 5 here, and then the 5 will still be at the end. All right, and then just keep going from there. So in the next one, it's going to swap for this one, and it's going to swap the 3 and the 2. So if we want to do it after the next swap, it'd go 1, 2, 3, 7, 5, 5. Okay, and now we're on this spot. So if you want to pause the video and maybe do the rest of it, if you want to see if you can figure it out yourself. Okay, and so what'll happen here is we'll just select, and the 3 is in the I should label it. So this is after round 1 here. It's after round 2. So after round 3, nothing really gets swapped. It will run, but because 3 is the min at this point, it'll just stay there. Okay, and now it'll go through again, and I'm not actually sure which 5 it'll swap with here, to be honest, but my guess would probably be this first one. So I'd have to look at the code more carefully, but I'm just going to flip-flop these. We'll have the 5 here, and then the 7 here, and then the 5. And then the last time through, we're doing this spot, and it does need to swap it. So for this 5th one here, it's going to swap these two, and so we finally have them in order. 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 7. Okay, and so how many swaps are performed is kind of this bottom question. Sorry, I ran out of space, but it's basically 1 for every spot except the last spot, because the last spot kind of by default has the highest value. So if there's 6 elements like there are here, then there's 1 less. There's 5 swaps. Right? So hopefully that makes sense to you. You could even think if there's n elements, how many swaps? Pause, think about it. Hopefully realize that that's n minus 1 swaps for selection sort. And it always does that. Even if it's in order right away, it doesn't know that. So it's going to do that number of swaps every single time. Okay, so you got a worksheet that's going to have questions kind of similar to this. Actually, not a worksheet. It's an online Schoology thing. Okay, so here it is. It's called Understanding Selection Sort, and it's just an assignment. You'll be some multiple choice somewhere. You actually have to type in code. These folder names might change a little bit. I don't have the plan completely done yet, but this will be the name of the assignment right there. Then the final thing I want to show you is just show you the selection sort code quick, just to help you, because you'll be coding some of it in this assignment today. So I thought I'd give you kind of a rough overview of it. And I forgot, I actually don't need Eclipse. So here's what the assignment, it'll have this piece of information in it, this little block of code. Okay, so this is kind of the high level view that's on your worksheet of selection sort. So you can see that we have an array of ints coming in and unsorted. And basically here's the outer loop that starts at position 0 because we're going to select the smallest spot to go in position 0. And basically it does 2 things. It finds the minimum location, and this we've done a bunch, right, where we search through and find that we did the min value. I guess this is a little bit different because it finds the min index. All right, so it passes in the array, and then the position we're starting from, because that find min doesn't always start at the very beginning, right? If we look back at this, it only searches from the spot we're at on, right? So that's why find minimum, you have a position that you start with. That's not always the same each time, right? This array is pretty much always the same. Well, actually not the same because we're going to swap them, right? So part 2 of that is just swaps. So basically it swaps the position we're on with the min location in this array called values, right? So you'll be writing those 2, and hopefully they'll make some sense. So the swap we've done before, we have that temp thing, right? So we're going to swap from position 1 to position 2 in this int array. So we've done something like that before. We will need a temp variable to make it work. Okay, and then the min locations, the only thing that's really tricky here is that you're going to return the position of the minimum, searching at this position, and not the value, not the min value, but the min position, because that's what's going to be needed when you do the swap here. So hopefully that all makes sense. Give it your best shot, and I'll give you some feedback once you submit the assignment. All right, hope you're doing well. Bye.